Hi guys, I'm Ed Clarke and today I'll be taking you through my 2024 live rig for use with Brave Rival. So, first thing I'm going to look at is of course the guitars that I'm playing. It's no great surprise that my number one is still Sally. Sally is a FSR American Strat from 2019 that I've modified with Seymour Duncan's Everything Axe pickups. Special thanks to Solder X for sorting out pickups on that one. Next up we have my second guitar. Now this is one I've just finished wiring up. It is my Fender Mexican Roadhouse Deluxe Strat, which I've just put a Little 59 by Seymour Duncan in the bridge of. I've taken the preamp out of it, so the neck and middle pickups are just Fender's noiseless pickups with no preamp, and in the bridge Seymour Duncan Little 59. Now I'll hopefully be using that for the vast majority of gigs as my backup, but I've also got my PRS S2 mirror. Our beloved Rupert, who is the tech for Brave Rival, has modified to give a kind of faux out-of-phase Straps style sound in the middle positions, even though it's of course only got the two pickups. Final electric will be Georgia, which is my once upon a time Squier Standard Telly, which I've heavily modified, resprayed, put a third pickup in, bare knuckle, the lot. And that's now my slide guitar. It stays in open E tuning at all times for our song What's Your Name Again, which usually closes the set. For my acoustic, I'm using an Alvarez Masterworks Elite Grand Auditorium. Bit of an eye-opener for me when I first played Alvarez guitars. I was absolutely blown away. It has a really nice bevel for the armrest. It's super comfortable, looks super awesome, and sounds, most importantly, incredible. Amp-wise, I'm using my Victory V40 Deluxe. I absolutely love this thing. Incredible clean sound, and then allows you to get all sorts of tones on top using pedals. So, pedals. Many of you will know that I'm a big pedal nerd. I absolutely love messing around with the pedal board. So, first things first, wireless. It's a Shure GLX D16 Plus. Really happy with it. Solid metal construction, great tuner, just does a brilliant job. Obviously I'm not hooked up to the wireless right now. I've just got a cable going in the top because it also acts as my tuner. After that we go off the board to the Gin Dunlop Crybaby Junior Wah, which is not actually set up at the moment, but it would usually sit off to the left of my pedal board. And then we go back into the board up at the top here. This is the TC Sub-and-Up Mini, and just for one or two songs we use an octave of sound. I'll demonstrate it in a minute when I've got some overdrive on. Out of the Sub-and-Up Mini we go into the Gig Rig Quartermaster down here, which has 6 loops in it where I've got various pedals. So loop number 1 is labelled Clon, which is the Halcyon by Origin Effects, the Halcyon Gold I should say. This was actually given to me by a fan who knew I was trying various different pedals to try and get a good boost that would suit me really well, and he kindly gave me this. So Peter, thank you very, very much. I don't see it coming off my board anytime soon. So here's my clean sound. And then with the Clon. I've got an annoying hum in here today, I'm not quite sure why, but we'll try and muddle through. So yeah, it's just a low gain boost just to get me, generally it's to push into the front of one of the other overdrives, but also if I ever go clean, there's going to be the minimum of that on. I never play entirely clean. After that we've got the OCD. Now the OCD and the Riverside that's next to it, I use one or other. They're sort of like my amp drives. So the Riverside is more open sounding, the OCD is more low mids, so it's a lot more distortion-y. Sounds like this on its own. And that's for the more heavier, rockier stuff. And then for the majority of the set, I use the Riverside here by Strymon. I also have the favourite switch set up to give me a cleaner sound. So anytime I'll have either that on or the Halcyon on, just to give me a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of sustain when I'm playing clean stuff, but I can also stack them together. So like I say, the Halcyon is there to stack with another pedal to give it a little bit more oomph. For example. there's that hum I told you about. I should say at this point that I'm playing Sally, the USA Strat with humbuckers in. When I'm going onto the bridge pickup, generally is when I'll use the OCD, just because I find if I go onto bridge pickup on the Riverside, it's just a little bit too pokey. So if I go onto the OCD, just a little bit thicker, particularly in a band setting, it just seems to sit better. I must admit, hearing it now isolated, either would do absolutely fine. But yeah, in the band setting, the Riverside isn't quite enough. So yeah, it just helps for songs like Run and Hide and Fairy Tale when we've got a higher gain setting. I briefly mentioned the favourite switch on the Strymon, and there is no set place I use this during gigs, but whenever I need, just like I say, a lower gain thing or almost clean, I use that, and then I can push it with a clon again if I wish. Just a really nice mid-gain overdrive when you put the two together. So yeah, I'm really happy with that Halcyon. It's doing me very well at the moment. So into loop 4, we have the HX Stomp. Now you'll notice this metal cover, which I've velcroed. Oh, velcro's come off. That's good. Which I've velcroed on. Let me show that. This metal cover that I've velcroed on. That is to stop me accidentally pressing it when I press one of these two switches, or I suppose that one as well. Because I use the HX Stomp for a few things, including pitch shifting. We have a couple of songs which are in E-flat tuning, and rather than bring an extra guitar just for that, I use a patch on the HX Stomp which brings it down a semitone. But I don't want to accidentally turn that off when I go to hit my delay. So for those of you who don't know, I'm actually a CAD engineer, so I drew this up and got one of the machinists at the college that I work to make that for me, to yeah, just protect me from accidentally pressing that switch. On the HX Stomp, the main sounds I use are my filter, which is sort of a megaphone effect. I love using this sound on numerous songs, so without it, I kind of use it as something to do before a really heavy section, to really make the heavy section seem even heavier. Because we've only got one guitar in this band, I haven't got the option of having one guitar drop out then come back in, so that's kind of how I tackle that. We've also got a Script Phase 90 style phaser. That gets used in numerous places, notably the solo of Secrets. It wasn't like that on the album, but I just fancied it live. And also bridge section of Heart Attack and a few other places where I just need a little bit of a wobble sound. Next one is one I really love. It's a shimmer. Gets used only once, which is in the bridge of a song called Insane, which is coming up on the new album. If I roll off the volume on an overdrive sound and put that on, it sounds a bit like this. For those of you who don't know, a shimmer is essentially an octave up reverb, and you can get some really, really crazy sounds using it. Next up on the Quartermaster, we have the delay. Now my delay is the Andy Timmons Halo from Keeley. Absolutely love this thing. I was on a quest for a long time trying to find a delay that was small enough to fit on a board like this, because I don't use loads of delay, but still gave me two different delay sounds. This is exactly what this does, but it also has some added functionality. So on side A, which is what's currently set, I have an expression pedal off the board, which you can't currently see. It's the Hotone Ampero volume, I think, which has an expression out. I've got it hooked up to the Halo, essentially to give me a third delay. I'll show you what I mean. So on side A, with the expression pedal all the way to the heel position, I get this. Quite a quick delay, fades out quite quick, and it just stays out the way. So if I'm doing a solo, it's nice just to have it there, just to give it a little bit more texture. However, if I, without touching the Halo, just put the expression pedal to the toe down position, I get a much slower, much louder delay, for songs like Come Down, where I really want the delay to be a feature. I'll often layer that with the Hoff Mini, which is up here. Just a nice plate reverb to get a really, really ambient sound. Excuse the bum notes. On the other side of the Halo, I have a Bucket Brigade style delay. It doesn't matter where the expression pedal is positioned for this one, it always sounds the same. And this is set up for a song called Sink or Swim, which is again coming up on the new album. Our producer came up with a really cool delay sound, so I've tried to get relatively close to it for live use. So it's a really intense sounding cascading delay. Bit of modulation going on there as well, which kind of adds to the chorusing of the riff. So yeah, really, really happy with that. I literally just set that up today. I'm going to try it at the gigs coming up this week. But yeah, so far, really, really happy with it. The last thing on the Quartermaster is the Lacerate by Nux up here. It's my solo boost. It's just a make it louder button. Just a clean boost. You can set it to have some gain in it, but I've just got it set to the clean boost setting. I did have the EP boost by Exotic up there, obviously a much more expensive pedal, but I A-B'd them when I redid my pedal board last week, and I just preferred the tone of this. I don't know what to say. Cheap doesn't necessarily mean bad. Before we move on from the Quartermaster, I should just point out that there are blue and red LEDs going on. The blue are ones I can stack together. The red, which is the OCD and the River, allow me to flip-flop between them. Logic there being I'm never going to have the OCD and the River on at the same time, and if I accidentally did, it would be a lot of feedback because they're both set pretty high gain. So out of the Quartermaster, we go into the Hoff, which I've already mentioned, but I'll just do it in isolation. So first without, just a bit of that reverb from the amp, and then with. Lovely long sustain, so if I did some cleaner stuff, like with the favourite switch on the Strymon, with that. Yeah, you get the idea. Now another one of the more weirdy-beardy pedals, we have the Infinite Mini by TC Electronic. Really cool idea. It's essentially a freezer pedal, very similar to the EHX Freeze, except it's much more focused on the reverb that gets sustained. So if I show you what I mean. So really natural sounding in comparison to some others that I've heard. So I just really, really like it. It gets used at the beginning of What's the Name Again, when we have a long droning chord underneath the first verse. But it also allows me to do some pretty cool stuff, which I'm experimenting with, like doing chord changes and then noodling over them. So I don't know if I was to, for example, actually change key, because I've done this entire thing in A so far. If I were to change key and play in D, I could do something like this. Now, of course, that didn't work perfectly. I had chords overlapping because I was having to, to do it with my hand. You can imagine if you're using your feet for that, you can do some pretty cool changes midway through your noodling, which is pretty cool. I've got the little switcher up here, which just switches through the patches on the HX Stomp. I'll quickly show you what those other patches are. Live Rig 7 is the one that I use for most of the time, but if we have some of the songs in E flat, I press the down switch and it says Guilty Love because that was the first song we had in E flat. Literally all it does is bring it down a semitone, so I'll demonstrate that. Turn the reverb off. It's got the EQ, I said, the megaphone effects. Don't actually use that very much, but it's there if I ever did want to use it in an E flat tuning. But no, but more importantly, we've got the tremolo on here. It's quite a hard tremolo that I use in the verse of Guilty Love. There is a subtle tremolo I use quite a lot from the V40. Just on clean stuff, I tend to put a bit of trem on. That's obviously not on the pedal board. But yeah, if I need a hard tremolo, that's where you get that from. We have the old What's Your Name Again preset, which has the sustainer there. I don't use that anymore because I've got the Infinite. We've also got the Thin Ice preset. Now, this one has a gate on it, so I can get some pretty high gain and be able to get those stabs still there. But it also has a couple of fun things on it. I've got an octaver on there. If I do ever want to take the sub and up off, I've got an octaver there. The trouble with it is because of where it's placed in the chain, it's after the overdrives, doesn't sound quite as good. Again, got the megaphone effect there should I want it. But the really fun one is in a new song we've been playing live recently called On the Next Round. I actually recorded it with 2 guitars in harmony. Obviously you can't do that live, but the pedals got me. So it turns this, excuse the out-of-tune bends, into this. I usually try and avoid things like that, but it was just a cool moment in the recorded version. I just wanted to get it in live, so just for that little moment, I can put it on there. So yeah, I think that's it. People often say that I've got a lot going on this pedal board, and I guess it's kind of true, but for the majority of the set, it's the Riverside with the Halcyon, and then the other bits just come in here and there when they're needed. But I'm not someone that says I need this overdrive for this song, this overdrive for this song, this overdrive for this song. It's pretty much just those 2 stacked, and that's that. The OCD only gets used when I just feel like it's not digging enough. So it just gives me options, because I often find different venues sound different, you need different sounds. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and make sure you've got the bell icon ticked to be notified of any new videos. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.